United States in 2024, November 2024. One of the best things about it is it pulls every single tech development, and she pulls that tech stack together, which somehow we don't think about that, right? But the tech coup, one of the things you take away from that is you realize that Elon Musk and Starlink, for example, decided whether or not Ukraine can attack the Russians that were coming in, because he just shut down Starlink, right? So every day that a government doesn't actually put limits of power on this is a coup for the tech companies, right? So how do you reclaim your power? How do you reclaim sovereignty? It isn't just us. I focus on us because I'm a journalist and the public information ecosystem is corrupted. But it is power and money, and I think that's why I love the tech coup. I talk about it all the time, sorry. But the tech coup, it's happened already. So your email, Apple, every single one of these, right? There's insidious manipulation on each of us, and on Marichka's level, on governments. And the question is going to be, will we get digital sovereignty? And that's a question we grapple with.
Yes, and I think this is something that I was very much looking forward to asking you this question, Maria, because in the European Union there is this idea that because it is such a huge market, there is quite some leverage, right? So if we make laws, let's say the General Data Protection Directive, now the AI Act, or the so-called Digital Services Act, all laws that have been enacted in the EU, we can enforce these laws also against very, very large companies, the largest companies in the world, like Google and Meta and Amazon and others. Now, coming from the Philippines, what is your idea of how this kind of sovereignty could be achieved when you don't have that leverage? I mean, setting aside the question of whether the European Union can be successful with that.
Yes. Yeah, no, thank you for the question, right? So what do we as Filipinos do? Because when you're on the front lines and you're being attacked all the time, you don't stand still. And so I looked to Germany when GDPR was first rolled out, right? And German politicians had to defend themselves on it. But when GDPR rolled out, it had an impact on the Philippines, right? Because it was at that point a one-size-fits-all. So our internet, our social media got a little bit more civilized. When the DSA, I spent a lot of time at the EU looking at this in time for the DSA, the DMA, and the AI Act. So what we did, and I looked to Germany, it's France and Germany, by the way, the two countries that put all their government websites on the Matrix protocol. You can Google this. I hate to send you to Google, but the Matrix protocol is what you use. It's an open source, decentralized, end-to-end encrypted. If you care about data privacy, you use the Matrix protocol. But who uses it? Governments, militaries, intelligence agencies, the Matrix protocol. But it's open source code. So what do we Filipinos do? We take their open source code and build on top of it. And we build a Matrix protocol chat app for news organizations. I think the only way information integrity will survive is outside of surveillance for profit. So we took that code and then we rolled it out in the Philippines, December 2023. And we now, if you look at the Rappler app, I don't send you to Facebook, I don't send you to X, I send you to the Matrix Protocol chat app, where real people can talk to real people, right? We identify that, and we actually have great conversations. And since December 2023, there are 12 rules, and if you actually violate them 3 times, you're kicked off. We've only we've only banned 3 people. Because when the rules are clear and you're not commodifying human beings and you're not inciting them to hate each other, people are good. So, and the last part is this. A few weeks ago, we brought in the Philippine Press Institute on the Matrix chat app. We brought in the Daily Guardian. We brought in Sunstar Cebu. The goal is to bring in news organizations so we can have conversations that matter with real people. And what's the danger of building this? You can get bored. But I'm making the bet that for Filipinos, the enshittification of the internet is such full steam ahead that people are going to want to get out of the toxic sludge. And guess what? It's working for us. And now we're inviting other news groups from around the world, a global federation where we can own our sovereignty, where we're not being manipulated. Sorry, I'm very excited about this because it's the only way forward, right? It's there. The only reason we're not using it is because tech companies haven't figured out how to print money off of it. So you don't make a lot of money, but we're safe and we can have real connections.
It seems that you want to react to this immediately. Yes.
I think it's really important to keep in mind, and I think Maria's answer makes it very clear, that this is not about being in favor or against technology. This is about appreciating the forces of power behind a lot of the technology that we use. And so when Maria talks about sovereignty, I see the flip side of that as self-determination as individuals. So there's sovereignty for states, self-determination for people, and both are under pressure, and it's really important to protect them. And of course, we're not going to go off of technology. We just need to feel empowered to build different technology. And to also, I mean, we're in the middle of this whole AI hype right now. And we are seeing cracks in the hype because investors are worried about the bubble. They're beginning to warn about the bubble. And we can only hope that the bubble doesn't burst by taking down too many of us because of, the heavy bets that have been placed and the big shifts that companies and governments have already made to go on these AI platforms that basically take the data, take the intellectual property, create new dependencies. But also with AI, there's now such a hype as if everybody needs a large language model, as if there's only one path to success. And so I think what's really important to Maria's answer, but also for us Europeans, assuming that a number of you are from Europe, to understand is that the last word about what tech success looks like has not been said yet. We need to stop feeling like we are disempowered, that Europe has missed the boat. You may have heard that before. That it's only America and China that count now. This is absolute nonsense, and it's a spin. So it is a narrative that is being pushed because it benefits certain interests. And so what I hope you will take away from this afternoon, that yes, we are living in a dark time, maybe not for the Philippines, thank goodness, but for many other places in the world. This is